Ah, 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 ah. So normally I would do my usual intro. Hello there, Stream Elements. Normally I would do my usual intro, which is just being at a waiting screen. Like, say for instance, this. But I figured let's just get straight into business, shall we? Yeah, so because we're just gonna we're gonna go straight into the breakdown of the Simple Folds progressive. You can tell I'm a little bit nervous about this, but yes, it is a bop. It is indeed a bop. Yes, I'm going to be doing a FL Studio project breakdown of the Simple Folds progressive artcore retelling. こんルアーIwanami Lureです。Hello guys, I'm Lure Iwanami, and as you probably, in case you missed it, hold on, let me just get a little screen cap of it, just in case you guys missed the news. You know, just in case. Hold on, just give me a few moments here. Just in case. So yeah, just in case you guys missed the whole news about like what transpired today, just gonna drop this here. Patterns announced the results for the contest, for the Simple Folds Remix contest. Top 3 out of 106 entries. Yeah. Actually, yeah, I was number 3. Number 3. I got the bronze, and I am honestly really honored to have this. Hold on, let me just adjust this really fast. Sorry about that. But yes, really honored to have actually ranked high on my first piece, and yeah, really happy about this. But yes, did you participate? No, I'm not a producer. They're just there to just watch all the entries, which is also really good too. But yes, out of 100-ish entries, I managed to snag the bronze on this. Second place was Unit 0, and first place was the Pop Pump cover from Zephyriana, Buffle Fluffle, and Sholin. Congratulations, Lure. Thank you. I'm just an audiophile. Yes. So yeah, I got third place on this whole thing. Really proud of it. Really honored to have gotten this position, and now I'm going to go down and break this project down. Rather just go through everything that I did throughout this project, because honestly, like, if we just go to this part, how this project all started was I had part of the acapella. Yes. How often can we interrupt you with questions? You can just go ahead, and I'll if I catch it, then I'll answer them whenever I can. So for the most part, this whole section here, literally this whole like, the only thing that existed from this section when I started the remix was literally just all of this. So this was what we started off with.
I've memorized, analyzed what has yet to be, lost in the fabric of the arms that I can't see. A simple fault that I've told myself to erase.
Actually, I don't even think. Okay, so imagine. So actually, let's actually open up one of the earlier iterations before we get back to this iteration, because I feel like it is important for me to share the history of how this whole thing came to be. So let's just so what you're about to see right now is literally the first iteration of this project. This was when I started working on this back in December 29th. And literally this was all the project consisted of.
I've memorized, analyzed what has yet to be. Lost in the fabric of the arms that I can't see. A simple fault that I've told myself to erase. I wish it was not the only hope that I could chase.
So that was my basis. And everything just essentially just built from all of this. This one sort of whatchamacallit, the poly not polyrhythm, but this little polymeter like arp that I had, this little polymeter like pattern that I have going here. So it's like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. And that was the basis for essentially the beginning parts and certain parts of the piece. And of course, we had this little piano section, which I opted to put the releases like very low, so that way it has like more of like a choppy effect. So like which I hear a lot in like artcore songs specifically. Like this is definitely like the chopped pianos are definitely like something that I enjoy from say for instance artists like Furiquidus, for instance, who uses a lot of like chopped pianos. And I actually did listen to a lot of Furiquidus while I was making this. So you could see, so Furiquidus was essentially the biggest inspiration for these chopped pianos. Piano chops are cool, yeah. So this was essentially the state of the project on December 9th. If we jump here to iteration number 4, where this is the first iteration of December 30th, I think we start building it a little bit more. So in December 30th, I actually had this idea to stack multiple different arps. So this is what it would have sounded like with those arps. I see like 100%. I 100% see the inspiration from Furiquidus. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was building this project out, I essentially started off with this with these arps, and I decided to stack them until I decided I kind of decided that it started limiting like the potential of what I could use this pattern for, because I eventually did reuse it for like later parts. So this was the state of the stacked arps, and this was where I added in the sub bass. As well as which was basically just ripped straight up from Simple Folds stems kit.
I've memorized, analyzed, but has yet to be lost in the fabric of the arms that I can't see. A simple fold that I've told myself to erase. I wish it was not the only hope that I could chase.
And that was essentially the state of the project on December 30th. An Eamon break so soon. What types of drums are those? So this is like a drum and bass loop that I had in my collection, and it's essentially just like a small like a pretty sizable drum loop. I don't think I ended up using it like this though, because when I was developing this, I just wanted to have this here as like a placeholder before I developed those. And yeah, the Eamon break so soon. So as we move on, this was essentially what I did throughout the day. So this is a later iteration from that same day on December 30th, where I now have all of this, where I establish like filler lines, and I have like the filler parts for this part now, and this is what it all sounds like.
I've memorized, analyzed, but has yet to be lost in the fabric of the arms that I can't see. A simple fold that I've told myself to erase. I wish it was not the only hope that I could chase.
So yeah, this is so you're starting to see how like things are like building up, and of course I have the rest of the acapella here because eventually I'm going to use the rest of this. It's just I don't know how else I'll be using it right now because I'm still building up these parts. So yeah, like you see like the progressions are like building up just fine, or more or less building up just fine. Feel free to explain musical terms for any beginners in chat. Definitely not me. But yes, like things start to build up. We still have these like little patterns stacked together. I don't think I would break these up until like much later in the project. So that being said, let's jump a couple days from now. Let's jump a couple days ahead. See what the state of the project is, because it was at this point, little pretty patterns. It was at this point where I was actually starting to like build. So this is where I started building the pre-chorus in this part. What did it actually sound like? Hold on. So this is part of the intro.
Future cravings, a glimpse of idealizing.
So yeah, that's basically. So this is essentially building the framework of what would become the pre-chorus. Just wondering, how long have you been doing music stuff? So long before I became a VTuber, I actually have been doing music stuff like actually like actively making music stuff for like 10 years at this point. Yeah, I started quite a long while back. But I've also just been like diving through music stuff. Through like like little music stuff. Even when I was like a little kid and you know, I didn't really actually dive into like making music until like around like roughly 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago at this point. And this is essentially a culmination of like everything that I have been like everything that I have learned up to this point, alongside just like being able to like polish all of that. So yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while actually. Yes, let's jump a day later and see how we built that. Built that pre-chorus. Okay, yes. All right, so this is where things get a little bit more interesting. I don't have this little sound design thing that I would eventually use from like in the final version, but in this version we start building up. This is where we start building out that pre-chorus. And it sounds a little bit like this. Oh. So yes, this was the early version, the early, like as I was building the progressions for the pre-chorus. This is essentially all I had of it for now, and the rest of it wouldn't come until I think a couple versions after that. Like a couple versions after that, it would start building up a lot more and start incorporating some things to make that section a little bit full, so to speak. Ah, there it is. So this is okay. So we built a little bit more of this. We built a little bit more of this, but this section, this part here is a little bit interesting because I guess in this part, I was thinking that this would be like a section in of itself. And then after that section was done, it would go into this part where it would then lead into the chorus. But then eventually I decided to just incorporate all of this into leading into the pre-chorus. I'll get technical. Did you balance the vocal chops, or am I sensing an intentional balance favoring the right channel? So this is what the vocal chops looks like. And here is specifically the panning for this. This was before I incorporated panning on this. But yeah, I'll probably show, like, once we get to like a later iteration where I actually incorporate the panning of these, then I will show you like what the pattern is for like the vocal chops, because I did try to make it as balanced as I could. And yeah, as I was developing this, we also started developing the sub bass for this section. So and this one's just like a running sub bass. So it's like Yeah. It's just it's one of the things that comes in handy when it comes to building like lines like these is you like there's a lot of copy and paste. There's a lot of copy and pasting that you could definitely do. So like if you break these down into like smaller chunks, so like you have this part that could be like considered like your A part, A, B, A, and then you vary this up. So this is like A, B, A, C, and then you have A, B, A, D, D. So like A, B, A, C, A, B, A, D, and then you do A, B, A, C, and then you spice it up. And that's basically how I built this running bass line, essentially. And then interestingly, I stacked the bass line, the rolling bass line, with a xylophone. And this was mostly to just give flavor to this section right here. So it sounds like this. It's definitely spicy. Hey there, Terry. And this is a trick. This is a composition technique or trope that I actually took from Sasakure Yuke, including this little string bit here. It's literally just a droning string bit. So that's just to like fill the space of this whole section right here. And this was before I started finishing the second half of this wonderful piano run that I've built here. Quick congrats on the 3rd, and thank you for doing a breakdown. I wanted to ask you to do one, but couldn't. You know what? I was actually going to do one anyways. But yeah, thank you for... Can you lower your mic a bit? Oh, gotcha. How's that sound? Quick congrats on 3rd, and thank you for doing a breakdown. I wanted to ask you to do one, but couldn't. No problem. And Diego was really pumped about this section in particular, where it's like a chromatic steps down. And yes, I sometimes, like, whenever it comes to me making stuff like this, like, honestly, this was my first time actually experimenting with this. Experimenting with like making these sort of like jazz chord progressions. Chromatic steps can be fun. Yeah. So I decided to just like incorporate these because, you know, I thought it sounds fun. Like a good amount of my decisions when it comes to building this track is like, what would make things musically interesting? It really gives the song a good feel. Yes. Okay, so this is where we establish more things. Like, intros are a lot more fuller now, and we now have reverse cymbals now. So that way these splashes aren't like lonely and stuff. Ah, yes, this is where this is where I start incorporating the panning on the vocal chops. Reverse reverb, however you want to call it. Yeah. So yeah, this is the panning for the vocal chops right here. And this is the vocal chops with its own panning. As you could see, I tried my best to like balance stuff. So like this is what it sounds like in isolation. Yes. All the little effects here go together nicely to make it ethereal. Yes. Yeah, it is balanced. I tried my best to like make it as balanced as I could, and some of it like some of it is like slightly strong, some of it is like hard panned, and it's like I wanted to make things as like varied as I possibly could with this one, and it all comes together fairly nicely. I think this is where I start building the chorus, and then I have all these different parts, and yeah, so the ending is actually kind of already established at this point. Like, say, like, for instance, if I just play this.
November's grasp is reaching.
So it's slight, okay, more, okay, so, like, I had an idea of where I was going with this. I had an idea of where I was going, but, like, this was essentially where I wanted to end the song. But obviously, we have a lot more song to cover, and it wouldn't make sense to just end it straight after this group of pre-chorus phrases.
Engraved memories fading. Tired of reminiscing.
Because in the original song Simple Folds, what happens is that you have this verse. You have this pre-chorus thing, but the thing is, it's not real. Okay, so in the remix, I incorporated a instrumental version before this version, but in the original version, all of this happens and then instrumentals take over from there. And then it just sets the mood for the rest of the song. I opted to do instrumentals before closing it off with this piece. Mostly because, like, you know, it'd make things like musically interesting, and it wouldn't feel like it was being rushed, essentially. But yeah, with that said, this is where the pre-chorus is essentially done, and I'm not sure if this is actually like built, like actually all the way built. Let's find out.
Engraved future cravings. A glimpse of idealizing. So tell me why the gentle voice of yours caress my soul to warn me. I have expectations set that I need you for healing. The misfit songs now, the breeze of your existence. Was it all my fault that it's all for naught? The fear is such that I'd much rather forget.
Man, am I glad that I didn't go with this transition, because this was the original transition that I had. I think it was good that I kept this as a placeholder before I like actually switched it out with the arps that I would do eventually with this instrument. It's really nice.
The fear is such.
But yeah, small note. Nanri is too low battery, so I'm giving you their congratulations for them. Congrats. Thank you, Nanri. Thank you, Nanri. Wish you could be here. But yes, essentially for the I essentially made like a very basic chord progression here. Yeah. And while these may look like they were like drawn out, one thing that I do when it comes to like even making chord progressions to begin with is I will actually play them on the piano before I actually like note them down. So like, say for instance, I have this this instrumental. One of the things that I'll do is that I will actually come up with progressions as I'm like, say for instance, playing like jamming on the piano. Are you self-taught mostly, or did you get any formal music teaching? I am mostly self-taught. I did take a couple of like a few piano lessons throughout my lifetime, but then I figured like because back in the day, all we had was like a traditional piano, as in like you played it and it actually made sounds and everyone in the house could hear you playing it. So I was, frankly enough, pretty uncomfortable when it came to like doing piano lessons, because it basically meant that everyone in the house could hear me. I was shy, basically. Basically this. Yes, I was shy, and I just like eventually like piano lessons just didn't really vibe with me, so I just brute forced everything by myself. And like I think a good majority of like what I have learned about music in the past few years is mostly thanks to Jacob Collier. Is Jacob Collier, like, yeah, he is very technical, and he is, as Adam Neely calls him, obnoxiously good at music. I get you though. I much prefer doing creative stuff in private. Imagine if anime artists learned how to draw on the family room TV, or even crazier. If your family found out about your art and decided to hang the stuff that you make on the kitchen fridge, that would be the biggest kick. That would be the biggest kick. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, that would be really bad. But yeah, Jacob Collier was like one of my more recent inspirations, mostly because not because of the fact that he's obnoxiously good at music, but he has a good approach. He has a good approach on like how to learn music and how to like figure stuff out. I'll make an Arduino refrigerator magnet to put this. Oh my god, you're just gonna put like an Arduino with like a dinky speaker, and then just blast that on the fridge whenever you open the fridge. Like, bruh. Oh my god. But yes, one of the things that Jacob Collier, one of the most important things that I've gotten from Jacob Collier is just the general like how to approach making music, or like how to approach like learning music in general, because like, I mean, yeah, I have a keyboard right next to me, and I'm so glad that Tyrion, I also have to thank you for this, because he was the one that showed me the CTS1, the Casio CTS1, and it has been a boon. It has been a really huge boon to like doing piano stuff. Cause like a good amount of the time, I can literally just turn my chair to the left and then just start jamming out. I mean, obviously that's just something that I. Oh, those tones are so good. I mean, for $200, this piano actually does sound pretty legit. I love it. I love it. I didn't have time to hook it up, so like you're probably just hearing like the chopped pianos, and maybe a little bit of my actual piano through the microphone. But yes, I love the piano sound on this Casio tone. But yes, but back to this. CTS1 tones are so nicely layered and good. Hearing it through the mic is dope. Nice. Should probably look back at this, see how it sounds. So essentially, I'll have this. So I'll have the instrumental.
So tell me why.
So actually, let's go a little bit further back, because I think this was how this was also how I figured out how I wanted to like start the intro and stuff. I used to be good, but then I got basically stuck with not playing it for like a whole 3 to 4 years, and when I turned I couldn't read sheet music and I lost most of my muscle memory. For me, when it comes to like playing the piano, I don't read sheet music. You probably wonder how I got here, your own stream. Let's go further. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am going all over the place. I hope you guys don't mind that. But yeah, for this, essentially, like, yeah, the piano line I have here is relatively simple.
The gentle voice of yours caress my soul till morning. I have expectations that I need you for healing.
But that is essentially like me like putting down the foundations of like what I was eventually going to build it to. So like, say for instance, like, let's play this. Yeah. That's how I build the chords. I just doodle around with it on my piano, and then once I get something that feels great, then I just note it down. I think the mic is picking the piano up and sounds double. Right. Beep beep ba bu 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 bu. But yeah. So I essentially doodle the chord progressions before, you know, turning them into all of this, essentially.
So tell me why. The gentle voice of yours caress my soul till morning. I have expectations that I need you for healing. The mist absorbs now the breeze of your existence. Was it all my fault that it's all for naught?
And that's only iteration 19 out of 30. And we are only in January 4th at this point in time. So let's jump to the first day of the first iteration of January 5th, where I think at this point I more or less flesh out the progression for the chorus. Yes. When I said that it took me over a week to make this song, I was not lying. So this is where we start building up the next verse. And I still have this relatively weak transition.
The feeling is such that I'd much rather forget.
But yes. So this is a lot more fleshed out. And you can tell it's a lot more fleshed out because this one actually incorporates more smoother playing. All Casio stores near me. Keyboards? Nah, man. Watches will get you more lady. In my head, wow, I can't believe this only took a week. In Lure's cotton candy head, it took a whole... It's like you know that one. It's like that one that you know. It's like Al's toy. I can't believe I have to go all the way to work on a Sunday. All the way to work. I'd love to hang out. I'm going to try and be responsible and fall asleep here since I live in EST. It's 12:45 almost. Have a good rest, Ice. It's nice having you. But also, the rest of the VOD will be available after once this stream is over. And because this is YouTube, the VODs will not go away. Yes. I don't think I've ever worked on any personal project for more than 4 days. I also feel that. Okay, yay. Alright, have a good night. Have a good rest. But yes, all the way to work. So yeah, this is what this fleshed out piano line now sounds like. And of course I have these grayed out, but this is essentially just the bass notes for that whole progression. Let's see if I can unmute it in one go, actually. Is it this? Nope, that's not it. Unmute. There it is. So yeah, this is essentially that part. Just with because this bass part does not play because it's already being occupied by the bass line right here. So yes. Okay, so that's a little more fleshed out, and here's our second verse in progress. So this is what it sounds like at this point.
The feeling is such that I'd much rather forget. Faking a smile that I've performed without an end. This gentle touch that I'd much rather omit. Assuming that I could give as much as I pretend.
Yeah, as it stands right now, most of this stuff was copy and pasted from the intro. Throughout all of this, I'm just like, how did that occur to you? Like how to build these sections out? Or like how I decided to approach certain sections and to spice them up. because for most things, like if you want to if you want to spice like certain sections, make them like a little bit interesting, creating silence is one of the things that you can do to build more tension, because like this is the second verse, and you may notice that like I don't really have that much instrumentation going on here until like a little bit later. And that's essentially to just like build this up and differentiate it from the first half of the song. Yeah, let him hang for a second. Create a little bit of that silence, and it also helps going into like say like the second half of a particular section. If you just like silence that part a little bit, then it hits a lot more. Yeah, that the ability to just create silence is very powerful when it comes to like making music. Let's jump a few days ahead. So this was iteration 21. That was on January 5th. This is iteration 24, January 7th. So essentially I am approaching the deadline, and it is almost done. And the song is almost done at this point, I think. I think it was at this point where I was just like, okay, I literally just have this part to work on. Literally just this part. And this is where we get our arpeggio, our like little the little sound design art right here. So this wonderful baby right here. Yes. It makes things a lot more shiny. Like it makes things a lot more shinier. And it is essentially what it sounds like in context.
The feeling is such that I'd much rather forget. Faking a smile that I've performed without an end. This gentle touch.
See, this is so this small part right here that you see right here. This is what I mean by creating silence is a powerful tool that a musician can use in order to like make things more interesting, per se. You just like take some instruments out, and it basically gives risers like more room to like actually like hit a lot better. So like
This gentle touch that I'd much rather omit. Assuming that
especially if you like bring back in more instrumentation, it could be a good way to like lead those things in, essentially.
this gentle touch that I'd much rather omit. Assuming that I could give as much as I pretend.
Right. Okay. So this is actually the first of what I would like to call a botsu arrangement, or a rejected arrangement. Oh, it turns out I had a botsu arrangement in this part. Land of the Lustrous style. I can see this playing over an anime OP that has a lot of crystalline themes to it. Land of the Lustrous. Yeah, because like it's really shiny and stuff. Okay, so this was where I start introducing the concept of botsu arrangements. So like these were like arrangements that I did that I could not figure out how to like make work. So like yeah. So I have this part right here. This part right here would eventually become its own botsu arrangement, because I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to make this new arrangement work. So I rejected this. And I also rejected this part too. So like I couldn't make this. I couldn't make this this work. I couldn't make this work somehow. Like I had this progression, but I could never figure out how to make it work properly with the remix that I was working on. So here's what it sounds like.
Gentle touch that I'd much rather omit. Assuming that I could give as much as I pretend.
Or isolated, like this is essentially the part you'd want to be paying attention to. I mean, it's a nice progression, but I could not figure out in the broader context of this Simple Fold remix how to make it work transitioning into the next section, essentially. And this would eventually become a botsu arrangement because yeah, as you could tell, I didn't even finish this arrangement, like this new arrangement. So I literally just rejected it. Like I didn't even use it. I mean, I kept it for archival purposes, but I ultimately never used it. And once we get to like the last iteration of this track, which is what I eventually gave to Patterns, you'll see that even in there's gonna be like a lot of like rejected stuff. There's gonna be a lot of like unused stuff. I could definitely show you all of the unused patterns that I have in this whole project. And I think I probably should note that, like, yes, I do have like a more fleshed out whatchamacallit ending. Like, this is still tentative because I'm still building this up. Because like this C part, this is the empty space that I needed to fill in from January 7th. January 7th was literally 2 days before the deadline. And I needed to I was essentially like trying to come up with stuff fast. But as it stands, like I had all of this, and it was essentially just building up this whole B section, or like the second part of the B section, the C part, the outro and stuff like that. This is what the outro sounds like right now, or as of this version.
November's grasp is reaching.
Ah, yes. I love the slowdown. The slowdown just makes it a lot more concludy in my vision. But yes, this was the state of the track as of January 7th. Let's bump it up like later into January 7th. To see where the state of the track is then, because I definitely worked quite a bit on this throughout literally the last couple of days. It's one of the best ways to finish this kind of song. Yeah. Artcore rules. I have to step away for a few moments. I'm still listening. All right, take care. Take care. I can hear the OSU results screen popping. Dude, if you want to map, anyone watching this VOD, if you are an OSU mapper, I give you full permission to map my Simple Folds progressive artcore retelling remix. I give you full permission. I mean, I'm not sure if Patterns has Oh, I'm not sure if Patterns will give you permission, but I sure hope he'll give you give you permission. But like, I want to see this in a rhythm game. I want to see this in a rhythm game. I have some friends that do the mapping thing, and I would totally be stoked to see someone like Yui Aimi play this on Osu. Oh, so this is why. Okay, so I started incorporating the fun stuff here. And of course, I added that failed B section into the botsus. Don't let the monkey's paw hear you. They'll map it to Beat Saber. Have at it. Have at it. If Patterns wants to play it on the rhythm game, put it in rhythm game. I'll pass it even if it's 8 stars difficulty. Nah. I don't think this song is busy enough to be 8 stars. Unless you like really grasp at like grasp through straws on this on this whole composition and just like overchart it to hell and back. I thought you slapped your microphone. Go man. Go man. Table HP -1. You need some water. Oh god. My gulps were going through the microphone. Whatever. Okay, so this is where I start putting in all the fun stuff. This is where I start putting in all the fun stuff, because we got temporary slowed down here, and then we ramp it back up to 195 BPM. Oh, by the way, here's the Pretty Patterns French thing. The Pretty Patterns French thing. Okay, so let's get rid of all of the effects just so I can show you what the Pretty Patterns French thing sounds like without any effects.
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spleen Pop, et il a travaillé avec des Vtubers populaires tels que Maury Calliope.
So, in the actual song, that last part was actually cut off. And essentially, yes, this is what it sounds like without effects.
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spleen Pop, et il a travaillé avec des Vtubers populaires tels que Maury Calliope.
So essentially what it's saying is Pretty Patterns is a freelance musician based in France. He has composed music, he has composed songs such as Proxima, the Simple Foods, Spleen Pop, and he has worked with popular VTubers such as Calliope Mori. That was the part that gets cut off in the actual song, because in the actual song, this is what that whole section sounds like.
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spleen Pop, et il a travaillé avec des Vtubers populaires tels que Maury.
Couldn't finish it. Couldn't finish it. And that was honestly on accident. But honestly, I'm kind of glad that it got cut off, because like that was almost a name drop. But it's okay. I name dropped three of his tracks with a very thick French accent, and Patterns was very pleased to hear it. Like during the sync listen, when this part came up, he just got his eyes just kind of he just like, while he was like taking notes, his eyes like widened and was just like, oh my god, I can't believe what I'm hearing. I'm so glad that this whole track was just a huge ride for Patterns, because god damn. So yeah, this is what this B section now sounds like.
Could give as much as I pretend.
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spleen Pop, et il a travaillé
Isn't Diego originally of Mexico? Imagine if this was in Spanish. So that's the interesting thing. Like with the name Diego, you would think that it's Spanish. Pretty Patterns is based in France. So I have learned like with like a little bit more research. And so I'm okay, so I'm going to break some of the magic for you. I'm going to break a little bit of the magic. You probably might be wondering, why did I even do a French thing in this song in the first place? Let's just say that it was a fun gimmick. It's a fun gimmick that I'm probably only going to do once and then probably never again after like the first time. Because this was not only my first remix, this was my first remix of something made by, originally made by Patterns, who is based in France. And since this was my first remix, I figured, maybe if I just wrote up some, like a little bit of like a very brief bio of Pretty Patterns, put it into French, and then just put it into French text-to-speech, and then tossed it into the song. Especially knowing that Patterns was going to listen to all of these entries to begin with. So, yeah, I just thought it was a fun gimmick, and it's probably something I'm not gonna do again because I don't want to like do these gimmicks where it's like, oh, it's that guy that does the language text to speech. Yeah, I didn't want to overstay the gimmick's welcome, but like, yeah, it was a fun gimmick to just like incorporate into the song. And of course, this was where the jazz solo was getting built up. Yeah, not really that much here. And what did I have here actually? Yeah, it's a fun surprise now. Yeah. What did I have here? I was trying to okay. So, as you probably could hear from the pianos, I was trying to essentially interpolate, which is music speak for basically cover the song but only as an instrumental. Oh my god. So this is a blatant interpolation. So this is a very blatant interpolation of Proxima. And this is a blatant interpolation of Ataraxia. Yeah. So that's an interpolation of Ataraxia, and this is an interpolation of Simple Folds. Yeah. So that was what I was going for. And that is exactly what I still go for in the final version, but not exactly in this form. Yeah, because I don't think I was able to, because I was trying my best to like actually shoehorn like the full songs. Like shoehorn the full songs into this. But I couldn't make it work. And I still had to build this section out. So let's go on to the next version. The next version. This was also, actually, this is the first version of January 8th. Literally a day before the deadline. Okay, so lots of things are basically spread out. And, right, the solo is done, more or less. And this is what that section sounds like. If you know, you know. Okay, so if you know what the lick is, I don't need to. Okay, so if you're not familiar with what the lick is, let me just play a few samples real fast. Okay, sample number one. Sample number one. Sample number two. Sample number three, which is not really a sample, it's just me playing it. So that is essentially the lick. And Tyrion, if you're still listening to this, I am not sorry. So yeah, I essentially just hid the lick in here. But starting from this part, that is actually spleen pop. This part of the solo is actually spleen pop. Now, if you're probably wondering, how is this spleen pop? Okay, so let's play this at half speed, just so I can play along with it. And actually, so let's play this at half speed. It's just surprising you incorporated his future song on a remix of his previous song. Honestly, my excuse is not my fault he released the song while a remix contest was going on. So I figured, why not? Why not toss in a little spleen pop inside my simple folds? Oh my god. So that's basically, yeah, that is essentially an harmonic interpolation of spleen pop. Now here, okay, I still have the old versions of this stuff. Oh, actually, this is me building up the actual old version. So this is what it sounds like now. And it's basically just like building up the rest of that, and we know how that went. So I essentially shortened these interpolations of Proxima and Ataraxia respectively to just fit into like nice 4-bar measures. Oh. Hold on. I'm glad you knew what I meant. I swear that's completely coincidental. I swear that's completely coincidental. Yes. Okay. So that is the second to last version of this baby before I actually finished it in this version. It is only barely reminiscent, but I felt it. Now, actually, 28 to 30 is essentially the song in a finished state. So let's jump to 30. AKA the version that I actually sent to Patterns and made into a music video. Or not music video per se, but like official audio, because I am not going to let a simple Okumono video be the quote-unquote music video of that song. And then basically at this point we have all of the stuff and we have all of the stuff finished. Look at media things.
November's grasp is reaching.
God damn! God damn it! What? What? No! What? Wait, where was this? Where was this? Wait, was it one of these? Oh my god. Was it what? Oh my god. What? Oh no. Where did you get? Oh my god. Hmm. Okay. For those of you wondering that are not on my Discord server, hold on, mate. For those of you that are not on my Discord server, let me just show you. I want to show you what Karma posted. Oh my god. Alright. Let's just go into here real fast and this was a meme song and Lure didn't even know. Hey. I incorporated the lick. I knew this was gonna be somewhat memes. I honestly did not see the Among Us. I honestly didn't expect the Among Us to be on. Oh my god. Okay, get that out of there. Oh god. You guys. All right. And oh, right. Right. As I was working on this song, there are some adjustments that I did to some of the sections. So here in the B section, we now have drums that filter up. But you want to know what the problem is when you filter drums up? You get resonance sounds. You want to know, so which is exactly why I have this param EQ2 here. This is what it sounds like when you don't compensate for resonances in your filter frequencies.
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spin Pop, et il a travaillé avec des VTubers populaires tels que Refrain.
Yeah, if I wasn't listening to this, like, if I was listening to this on my headphones, those frequencies would be really piercing your ears. So if you incorporate this,
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spin Pop, et il a travaillé avec des VTubers populaires tels que Refrain.
Imprinted memories fade.
okay, let's isolate this then, because okay, so this was this was this is the okay, maybe it wasn't that one, it was this one. It's breakcore now. Yeah, did you feel those resonances? Yeah, this is exactly why this exists. Okay, that was a little bit more tolerable, I think. A little bit more tolerable, not at the very least not like ear shattering. And this is exactly why I have this here, so that way it doesn't destroy everyone's ears. And then I think that's about it. There are some parts where I'd like grayed out because, like, you know, I tried incorporating them as is, but then excuse me. Turns out like it just kind of got more into the it got more in the way of the composition, so I just took those, so I just like rather than just like deleting them, I just muted them because I muted them so that way, you know, when it came time to like say do a breakdown like this, I can show you guys like, oh, this was what I originally planned to do, but then it didn't really turn out well. So yeah. What headphones are you using? I am using HD 280 Pros by good old Sennheiser. Good old reliable headphones. Nice Aussie accent.
November's grass.
I blame dank pods because of I blame dank pods for anything Australian that comes out of my mouth.
November's grasp is reaching.
Now, as you probably might see in like some parts, I actually have some muted notes here. And that is because sometimes whenever I compose stuff, I like to have fun with things. Specifically this part. So let's swap the muted and unmuted notes. And basically it becomes a very obscure, okay, it's a reference that will go over everyone else's heads. But rhythm gamers will understand what this reference is. A very, very small subset of rhythm gamers will understand this reference.
November's grasp is reaching.
Let's raise it to a more...
November's grasp is reaching.
Rhythm gamers, if you understand that reference, throw it in the comments, or I highly doubt they'll be watching something like this, but yes, that's a very, very obscure, like, rhythm game lick reference that I just tossed in there just for, like, just for the fun of it. I mean, for the most part, it's for me, because, like, I like to, like, play around with my music a little bit. Are you using EQ with them Sennheisers? Sometimes. I also have studio monitors that I can, like, listen to them for. 2 pairs of them, actually. Like, I have my main studio monitors, and okay, so this whole lick that I just unmuted, this is actually a reference to a 2DX song called May. And it has this little, lick that goes a little bit. Let me just choose a more suitable instrument for this. Yeah, it's a small obscure rhythm game lick that I just incorporated into incorporated just for funsies in, like, the project, because, you know, it's a silly thing, and, like, for the most part, most people aren't going to see the project files anyway, at least until I do a breakdown and thus spill the beans as to why I have random unmuted notes or random muted notes in certain parts of my song. But yes, that's essentially what it is alluding to, is a rhythm game song. Nerd. Shut up. But yes, this is where the whole song comes together. This is where it all comes together. This is the whole song in its entirety, with all of the wonderful bells and whistles that Patterns got to hear in the final listen. It's really gorgeous. All right. So, like, yeah, we got this part. We got this wonderful solo section with lots of interpolations and stuff. So yeah, that is essentially all of these projects. Now we could break down some of, like, the different parts of the song, because as you probably might have noticed at the beginning, I used to have all of these patterns, like, incorporated into one, but I eventually broke them up into separate patterns because feels a lot more free form to do it like this. So, like, we still have this. But now we also have this. But now we also have this. Can you talk more about the part where it slows down? Okay, so slow down part. Which slow down part? Because there are 2 parts where it slows down. This here and this here. Actually, let's explain both, because most of this, like, can be explained with, like, tempo automation. So how I did the tempo automations was simple. So first things first, I say, for instance, select a target, like a target BPM that I want to switch to, like 175. And then I highlight the section where I want to like contain the automation clip. You guys probably can't see it, but I switched the tempo to 175. I'm going to switch it to 170. And then once I have that tempo established, we'll create an automation clip, and this will essentially make an automation, like make a clean automation for the slowdown or whichever BPM you want to switch to.
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spin Pop, et il a travaillé avec des Vtubers populaires tels que
So that's just one example. In terms of like what you like, in terms of like what goes on, like what ultimately goes on in these sections is like, yeah, I mostly wanted to slow this down because like I wanted to differentiate it a little bit better from the first B section. So like this is what the first B section sounds like. So yeah, it's very energetic, but here we slow things down to like mellow things up a little bit. Because okay, first let's get rid of like the automations for tempo for a little bit.
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spin Pop, et il a travaillé avec des Vtubers populaires tels que
Yeah. So I felt like slowing it down would like match like the mellow tone of like this particular B section, and having it ramp up on the second half, I feel like it makes the second half of the second B section like hit a lot harder, I think.
Pretty Pattern est une musicienne indépendante basée en France. Il a composé des chansons telles que Proxima, Simple Fold et Spin Pop, et il a travaillé avec des Vtubers populaires tels que
Imprisoned memories fading. Tired of reminiscing.
So yeah. That is that slowdown explained. One thing that I actually haven't covered that much is like how I formed like all of the different parts, like say for instance like all of the bass lines and all of the like how did I formulate the drums and stuff, because I haven't really explained all of that. Or like the sub melodies and stuff like that, because I just kind of glossed through all of that as I was going through the history. But now that we're here, we can actually discuss about a little bit more about that stuff. Bass lines. I do have healthy amounts of sub bass, and that is actually using, where is it? This instrument. So that's what I meant by how did all of this occur to you? Yeah. So in terms of like the bass lines, I used an instrument called capacitation, which normally sounds like this if you play like high enough. It's a monophonic instrument, which makes it very, very good for bass lines. So like, so yeah. Eventually, I actually paired it up with another with another bass sound, dark chocolate specifically. But mostly because when I was listening to the work in progresses on, like, say for instance, my phone or my laptop, where the sounds are extremely weak and you could barely hear the sub bass, this essentially exists to give the bass a lot more texture down the line. So this is what it sounds. So this is what one of those patterns sounds like. Let's isolate that. So yeah, that instrument only exists to, like, give the sub bass a lot more texture for, like, say low end devices like smashing the song out of your iPhone, because I have this really crazy habit of just listening to my own work after I finish it, because I want to be happy about the work that I finished. Yes. So that's why I incorporated this little, like, texture bit here, just so I can be able to hear the bass while I'm smashing the song out of my iPhone. As for, like, other things, like, say for instance, like drums are just a case of layering the drums. There's obviously, like, yeah, we have this drum line that we see a lot. Never actually tried that. It comes in handy, especially when you want to, like, have the bass represented in a device that is not really good at representing sub bass or, like, the very lows, for instance, because that texture allows you to, like it allows you to accentuate the bass. Let me try it. Smashes the song out of a Black Shark profile. Bruh, at 3 a.m. Don't do that to yourself. Oh my god. But yeah, it's essentially just like stacking the layers, because we got this. Because we got this. And this drum pattern actually does not change that much. Does not actually change all that much. Like, there's literally only like 2 different variations of that drum kit, of that drum line. And then we also have this. And that's essentially like the main, I guess you could say that this is like the main drum. Like it has two ingredients that you would expect from a kit like this. You have the kick, you have a snare, yeah. And it essentially also does not change from that, except for like certain parts. There's a slower version, which I don't think I ever used that. This one is for leading out of the first chorus. That's the transitional one. Okay, maybe there is some like variations, but like for the most part, not really super. Oh, so that's what the taiko versions got. Oh my god. I'll give you permission to map this on Taiko Su if you want to. This is prominent in the B sections, like especially in the second half, like around here.
In present future cravings, a glimpse of idealizing.
But then it's also incorporating this, which is drum and bass. This is where the actual drum and bass hits. Yes. I think also not really that many variations to that as well. I think I only use like one variation and then it's... Yeah, literally just the same variation. Same variation, but it's literally just the first 4 bars. And then it's essentially just stacking these 3 drum lines together to get something fairly chaotic, not gonna lie.
In present future cravings, a glimpse of idealizing.
Which is why when it comes to like the drum, like this big drum and bass section, like I have to drop one of these. I have to drop at least one, like usually I'll only incorporate like 1 or like at most 2, like reasonably at a time, like 2 of these drum lines reasonably at a time. And very sparingly will I actually use all 3 unless it's like, say, the second half of like leading into a new section. So that's the drum lines. Praise to the dude that did the Amen break. They missed millions in royalties and gave it for free. Dude, Amen break is bless. I am glad that I don't have to like pay thousands and thousands in like royalties just to be able to use like a very iconic drum line. Because oh my god, none of us would not the bedroom producing sing would cease to exist if like that drum line was taken hostage by royalties and stuff. Would really suck. Like you like that would is like if it wasn't like, I don't think the drum and bass genre would exist if that drum line was tied to royalties. I would think. Like, yeah, whole genres would cease to exist if that drum line wasn't available for like free. Like, drum and bass would be gone, jungle would be gone. Damn. Everything ending in core would be gone. Oh my god. EDM would be extremely different if you would... No, actually, no. EDM would still exist because, like... But, like, yeah. All of, like, the hardcore stuff that relies so heavily on Amen break would just vaporize into nothing. Oh my god. Now you're probably wondering, how did I come up with these arps? Like the patterns that like repeat throughout the song. All I can really say about that is, let's just say that I just came up with like a phrase and then I just repeated it. And if it sounded pleasant, I used it. Yes. That is essentially the the philosophy that I have. If it sounds pleasant, I use it. And I have these little like sub melody parts that also like show up here. Side pulse melody. And it's essentially just here to like supplement everything that's going on in the song. And I also have another one. There it is. And of course. Did it? Okay, I think that's the last use of it. And also strings. Yeah. I use those. I don't know where I put them in. Oh, I probably put them here. Nope, that's where where did I map the strings to actually? 16. Oh, backing strings. That's where it is. So it sounds a little so the backing strings actually take multiple roles. It's mostly used to just so the backing strings are mostly used to just transition from different parts, from different halves of a section, like just introducing sections and stuff. Mostly just welling up like that. And then this is the part that actually this is a nice part that Diego was really pleased about. That little pitch up. Very suspenseful. Yeah, it's really good at these are really good at like creating suspense. Really loved using this. I use these more or less a lot in like the bass sections. So like, yeah, we understand what goes on with that. But I also use it to like build even more suspense during like a B section. So like, yeah, literally just hold those two notes and it's like, ooh. And it's like, I mentioned this earlier, but like this is a technique that Sasakure Yuke uses fairly like quite a bit in like some of his music. Like he just has like high strings that just like drone and just creates that sort of like eerie tension.
Imprisoned future cravings, a glimpse of idealizing.
And then this one is literally just a full ensemble. So yeah, it basically just switches between different roles. So this is what the full ensemble like role sounds like. Let's add some more instrumentation so that way we can give that more context. I guess in this case, we'll like unmute these. Unmute these just so we can give this a little more. But yeah. That is essentially the third role that string string section plays. This is a full string ensemble to just like give it more like atmosphere. Like you said, gives a sense of airiness and emotion. Exactly.
The gentle voice of yours carries my soul to warning. I have expectations that I need you for healing. The misty songs now, the breeze of your existence. Was it all my fault? That it's all for naught. The feeling is such that I'd much rather forget.
And then yeah. Of course, yeah, the thing that I went over earlier, creating the silence and stuff. And also, this is a tape. So it's really interesting when Diego was like reviewing my stuff. It occurred to me that he refers to anything that has like a pitch variation, and he refers to all of that as a tape stop. So this was a pitch bend down 1 octave, and this was one of the parts that he recognized as a tape stop. When it was mostly just a pitch down. I just thought it was like really interesting that he like recognized it as a. I mean, I guess you could construe it as like a. You could construe that as like a tape stop, but like this part didn't completely go away, I think. You want to know what's really interesting? Of all of the parts that he recognized as a quote unquote tape stop, okay, so this is what this is what an actual tape stop is. So what a tape stop is so this is an automation that will activate a tape stop on the master, and it looks very basic, but basically what the role of the tape stop is to simulate stopping is to like say you're playing a record and you're just playing a song when you stop the song, the turntable doesn't completely go to a full stop. It slows down before it comes to a full stop. So exaggerated, that would sound something like this. So exaggerated, it would sound a little something like this. Yeah. It's the Osu you felt. Exactly. That's the best way that you can explain a tape stop. It's a sound a tape deck makes when you pull the power. Yeah. I also see some people call the BPM sliders on a deck pitch sliders. Technically they are though, because when you adjust because like in old school decks, like if you're playing with like analog, like when you're playing with like analog, like vinyl records and stuff, that knob would actually be not just a BPM knob, but it would also affect the pitch as well. So I wouldn't blame. I wouldn't blame. They are technically, but it's still weird seeing it in like marketing materials and going, "What the f is a pitch slider?" It's a pitch slider. I mean, technically, FL Studio has a pitch slider. Sometimes I play around with it a lot too. Whenever I make music, so like. Yeah, whenever I make songs, I'm not always listening to it in the same key. Like sometimes I will listen to it like one like 100 cents or like one full key up or one half key up.
Faking a smile that I've performed without an end. This gentle touch that I'd much.
Or sometimes I listen to it 2 keys down.
Faking a smile that I've performed without an end. This gentle touch that I'd much rather omit.
Or maybe 3 or maybe 4.
Faking a smile that I've performed without an end.
And honestly, if you're wondering like how this is possible in modern FL Studio, we have a wonderful thing called Stretch Pro, which allows me to pitch vocals. Which allows me to pitch the song while also pitching everything.
Faking a smile that I've performed without an end.
If I wanted to be very extreme,
Faking a smile that I've performed without an end. This gentle touch that I'd much rather omit.
but I don't usually listen to it like night artcore. Oh my god. Oh, that okay, so that also reminds me. You know how like yes, I do have this like master pitch thing. What like obviously you don't want everything to be affected by the master pitch. So one of the things that you can do in FL Studio at the very least is you can choose like say a percussive instrument. Like say for instance all of these so all of these like all of these loops you can so like if you want so like if this is disabled like even if you pitch this up all the way here it'll be the same pitch, but if you press enable main pitch then this pitch will affect the pitch of that. And I don't do that with like percussive instruments because I want to see like say for instance like if I do like yeah it will sound like a chipmunk. It will sound like very chipmunky if I have percussive instruments affected by instrumentation. But it basically means that I can listen to a song and get like different perspectives of like what the melodies would be like without the song sounding like super like without the song either sounding like vaporwave oh my god.
The fear is such that I'd much rather forget. Faking a smile that I've performed without an end. This gentle touch that I'd much rather omit.
Oh my god. This is the first time actually like listening to it like that.
The fear is such that I'd much rather forget. Faking a smile that I've performed without an end.
But yeah. Okay, extremities aside, like that the activate main pitch the enable main pitch toggle is very handy for like percussive instruments. Especially when you do silly things like mess with the master pitch while you're composing something. At least that's what I do. It just helps me to like get like a different perspective of how the song sounds in like different pitches because like you know it gives you an idea of what a song would sound like if it were say like transposed and stuff without actually having to go through like the pain of like transposing all of the patterns in this song to match what you want to do. Now make it 120 BPM. Don't mind if I do. Making this song 120 BPM will actually break some of the vocal chops. So these vocal chops will be broken.
Engraved in future cravings.
Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, but yeah, if you're wondering what these vocal chops are, essentially, let's, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's highlight this whole thing and just play back.
So tell me why the gentle folds of yours caress my soul till morning. I have expectations set that I need you for healing. The mist of zone is now the breeze of your existence. Was it all my fault that it's all for naught?
So yeah, this whole vocal chop is just the chorus of the song, and then I just chopped it up into like reasonably melodic parts. Yes, it's a nice melodic line that I came up that sounds pretty nice, and yes. Okay, now to explain a few other things, like how I came up with all of this. Honestly, this part is voodoo. This is voodoo magic even for me. One, cause like, yes, I like jazz chords. I like jazz. Honestly, it's a real spicy part. It is pretty spicy. It is pretty spicy. But mostly, like, this is a culmination. This is essentially a culmination of all of the jazz chords that I have learned in the past couple of years. And, yeah. This one is relatively simple to, like, program because yeah. It's most of the stuff like I can actually play like on my keyboard, like isolated, of course, but wait. Yeah, it is definitely playable on piano. Yep. Spicy, but still playable. Some Bulldog Witcher artcore. I mean, artcore is kind of jazzy in some parts. Yeah, it's basically voodoo magic. Jazz, though. I've always wanted to like compose something with like sections like this where it actually like shows off like jazz. Jazz. Yeah, it's probably like it's probably like the most spicy bit that I made for this whole song. If I'm going to admit something. This one is a relatively simple progression because it's just switching from this saying a lot. This song has a lot of variety. Yeah, there is a lot of variety, but I feel like it doesn't like detract from like all of the, like it still feels like a cohesive whole, I think. Even though like, yeah, I have all of these like broken down sections like, oh, this is the first part, this is the second part, this is the chorus, this is the second A part, this is the second B part, this is the jazz wank. I'm honestly very glad that I made this song, and I am also still very, very, very honored that this song got the placement that it did. It flows surprisingly it flows surprisingly naturally. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. This is probably the most proudest thing I have done so far in my time of making music. But hopefully I'll be able to continue making some pretty good stuff. Maybe not like crazy wizardry like this. Like I still want to like make some relatively simple stuff. Like album drop when? Shh. Shh. That will come later. That'll come. You should be proud. It's incredible. There are some parts where I am honestly surprised that I managed to bang this out. This part is still giving me goosebumps sometimes. Like, how did I come up with this? Yeah, this still gives me goosebumps even when I'm just listening to it in isolation. Bandcamp when? Maybe someday in the future. Maybe sometime in the future. Maybe I might also make a SoundCloud too. But yeah, until then, we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be a lot of planning, but I'll definitely let you guys know on like Discord and Twitter when I make a when I make a Bandcamp or a SoundCloud or any release like that. And yes. So if you would like to support me and buy my music, let's get this angel on Spotify. Oh my god, do I need to get a DistroKid account too? Oh my god. I did it. I misspelled angel. Let's get this angle on Spotify. Oh, gotta get a DistroKid account too. Oh boy. Oh boy. Man, I'm definitely looking forward to the future. I tried so hard not to do it, but there it is. You're on f***ed up, man. Better get that account set up, boyo. Oh boy. Oh, why did I push that? Why did I push that? I didn't mean to push that. Oh my god. But yes, this has been a wild journey, and it's been glad to just like share to share all of this stuff with you, and like share how all of this stuff was like arranged and how all of the different parts like flowed together and stuff. I paid for Toma's Patreon to get the HD covers only to find out there's only 2 songs. Yeah. She's pretty like Toma gets pretty busy, and I think it's because of how busy she is that like lots of things just get really scattered. So like yeah, it's finding out there's only 2 HD covers on Patreon is like, oh, 1 song. Oh my god. Yeah, she's so busy, like there's literally like I do understand she is trying to rein it in by like getting a fart ton of managers and stuff, but like oh my god, I do hope that she is able to like rein things in more and like get more confident in like doing the things that she wants to do. I got a lot of work ahead of me if I'm gonna set up like music accounts and stuff like Spotify, like DistroKid and Bandcamp and freaking SoundCloud. Oh boy. Yeah, I got a whole journey ahead of me. You have? Wait. I mean, I've made 1 song, but I still need to like make the accounts on I still need to make all the accounts. I mean, maybe it will. Yeah. Sometime in the future. I do plan on releasing more music. I want to actually get some stuff released. But yes, I will probably get to creating some SoundCloud and Bandcamp accounts in the near future. But until then, yeah, I'll let you guys know. I'll announce when I finally open those accounts. But until then, thank you guys for watching. It was nice sharing all of the processes of all of this stuff. It's going to be great music. I hope so. Looking forward to it at the very least. But yes, hope you guys found this interesting. Hope you guys found this insightful on like how I approach doing certain things, even if I wasn't able to like fully like explain how I managed to come up with this witchcraft and wizardry. But you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That being said, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and this is the only stream of this week. So see you guys in a few days. Or not, maybe not see you guys in a few days, but I'll put out a schedule in like a few days, and we'll probably for those of you that are coming in through the VODs, yes, I do make music, but I also do the streaming thing too. So like I don't always do like music stuff. So yeah, if you like video games and stuff, feel free to drop by on that too, but if not, that's also fine. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next stream. Otsuruwa, bye bye. And for those of you that are new to my channel and came from me making music, I usually end my streams like this.